Darksiders tells the violent story of war, one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and all-around badass. War has been framed for ruining the balance between heaven and hell and causing the destruction of all humanity, which obviously sucks. This cataclysm launches war on a mission to clear his name, a mission that heavily borrows from gameplay elements from both the God of War and Zelda franchises. So is this the best of both worlds, or is Darksiders just another generic game that tries to copy success?
Just have to get in there and finish what they started.
One of the most striking things about Darksiders is the colorful cartoon fantasy art style. The bosses and stages have an impressive look and scale, and the animations are especially fluid. You get some nice effects like the inky sweep of War's wings, flashy weapon trails, and a nice use of color throughout. Unfortunately, there are some screen tearing and frame rate problems, but it shouldn't be enough to ruin your experience. More of an issue for me was the way the world is put together. Each of the zones do have a distinctive style to them, but they feel vacant and disconnected. It makes sense in the context of the story because this is the end of humanity as we know it, but it's just not as exciting as it could have been. I wanted to get a feel of how the world is coping with the destruction, rather than plowing through empty environments. There are some notable exceptions to this, but these exceptions just made the overall problem more apparent. Combat takes a lot of cues from games like God of War. You string together attacks and learn new moves as you progress through. You don't need any superhuman reflexes to pull off combos because the command input is slow and forgiving. Don't expect anything as complex as Devil May Cry. However, this is perfectly fine because combat is still entertaining. The animation is fluid and there are thankfully no quick time events in the game. It's about time we started doing away with those. The game is also overflowing with Zelda-type challenges. War will come across puzzle dungeons which contain new items that will eventually lead to a boss fight. You'll find dungeon maps, treasure chests, keys, a boomerang, a hookshot, and bombs that blow up walls. Does any of this sound familiar? The problem is that the puzzles and bosses aren't quite as cleverly designed as the games Darksiders is borrowing from. That's not to say that these elements are bad, they're just not distinctive. You feel that since Darksiders is trying so hard to be other games, that it struggles a little bit to find its own identity. Okay, so Darksiders does take a lot of ideas from other games, but it does so from some of the best. It will in no way replace Zelda or God of War, but it's still worth your time because of the way everything's skillfully pieced together. It has a cool visual style and is a lot of fun to play. Just don't expect it to reinvent the wheel. If nothing else, you at least get to beat up demons as one of the horsemen of the apocalypse. For the full written review, check out IGN.com.